Hello vinyl community, this is Mike with T-Cat's Deep Vinyl Tracks, and I was looking back and it looks like it's been quite a while since I did any of my deep track series. It was even before I started doing the King Crimson series, which I've been working on, and I've been kind of concentrating on that, but I thought I would come on and do a deep track segment about two different records, two that I just recently found and purchased. So we'll start off with that. These are two albums I haven't seen shown on any of the vinyl community channels yet. So the first one is a solo album from somebody that you will know from the band Alabama Shakes, and her name is Brittany Howard, and this is her album Jamie. This is an excellent album released in 2019, and the interesting thing about this album is if you've heard Alabama Shakes, you might have some preconceived notions of how this is going to sound. They're wrong. I'll tell you right now, I was very surprised at the sound of this. Nothing like Alabama Shakes at all. It's actually quite eclectic. First of all, let me just say, before I go into detail in the music, the album was dedicated to her sister, whose name is Jamie, and she died of a cancer called retinoblastoma when she was a teenager. What that is, some kind of cancer that starts in your retina, and it's highly invasive. I'm not sure if that's the right word or not, but unfortunately her sister died from that. So she dedicated this album to her sister. Brittany was suffering some writer's block, and which is why she did this album in the first place. She put the band Alabama Shakes on hold, put their music on hold while she was going through this writer's block issue, and she went on an extended vacation, road trip I should say, and that was where she really discovered that she wanted to do this album, this solo album that's centered around her life. And you can see some of the nice pictures there on the inner sleeve. On the other side are all the lyrics. So she was inspired to do this album. The album has songs about her sister, about growing up poor, about the prejudices that her parents received because of their interracial marriage, and it also deals with struggles with religious faith. So basically things centered around her life. And the album, like I said, is very eclectic. There are touches of, I would say, more neo-soul than anything, but there are touches of experimental music all throughout it. A lot of gospel influences, funk influences. There's some hip-hop, jazz fusion, avant jazz, noise rock, alternative country, and so on. Quite a few different things there. The thing about Brittany Howard, she's very, very talented, not just in singing. She's got an amazing voice, as most of us already know, but she also plays quite an assortment of instruments. And I want to go through and play a couple of tracks for you off of this album. My copy is on sandstone. You can see it's kind of got a marbly look to it, but they call that color sandstone. So here's some tracks from this album.
can I wait? What can I sing? Oh, I cannot wake without you always appearing. Oh, I better not wait too long, 'cause time is gonna kill it. Time is gonna kill it. I am given opportunity to become that which I admire most of others. I am not violent. I am a master student, and my spirit will never be stomped out. I am dedicated to oppose those whose will is to divide us. See, tomatoes are green and cotton is white. My heroes are black, so I got blue eyes. My daddy, he stayed. My grandmama's a maid. My mama was brave to take me outside.
So the second album I picked up just recently is more of a punk album. Pop punk is what a lot of people call it. Some call it post-punk. Potty Mouth is the name of the band, and they do have a lot of punk sound to them, but it does have kind of that guitar riff heavy sound to it. The album is their debut album called Hellbent. They did release some 7-inch singles before this album. And this one is on kind of a creamsicle vinyl, as you can see. This particular album is made up of the original 4 members who founded the band. It was actually founded by Ailey Einbinder, who plays bass, and Phoebe Harris, who does lead guitar and co-lead vocals. Abby Weens is also one of the lead vocalists. She actually sings most of the songs and does rhythm guitar. And Victoria Mandanis plays the drums. Okay, there's no real insert to this, so I can't show you any inserts. I was thinking there was something. Both Weens and Harris didn't know anything about how to play guitar before they joined the band. You can kind of hear that influence, and that kind of gives it that punk, imperfect edge. The vocals are very interesting, and it was released, the album was actually released to quite a few positive critical reviews. It's been labeled as punk, pop punk, riot girl, which they detest that label, post-punk, and surf music. Now, they didn't release a second full-length album until 6 years later, and that was released as a trio because Phoebe Harris had left the band by that point. But overall, they put out 2 albums, 3 EPs, 1 live album, and 12 singles. And I'm going to play you a couple of songs off of this album too, and I hope you enjoy it.
But I'm not one to give up. I'm a suicide, but I'm never gonna sign up. Rusted shut, rusted shut, rusted shut. Stay with me and say that you're sorry. Don't you know I always thought
surprise ending that I promised you is, like I said, I just purchased both of these albums just recently, and enjoy both of them. Very good albums. And the most surprising thing of all about them is I found them at the second-hand store, $2.99 a piece.